Do you have the problem that everybody for Christmas time says that you are so difficult to buy presents for? So what are we going to do?
We're going to show you 10 of the items that we think every motorhome or van lifer should have. Or if you're just into vehicles or anything like that, these are things that we've been using extensively this year that we absolutely love. And we would recommend that you send this video to your friends and family if they're looking for ideas for you for Christmas. Let's go. So first up is something that I carry. I think I have like maybe 4 or 5 of these in various backpacks. I have one in my motorhome in the door card. I have one in my daily drive car. So I have a bunch of these. I keep one in my backpack in my camera bag that I carry all the time. And it's a Petzl head torch. And I really like the new ones that come with a rechargeable battery. It recharges just with standard mini USB. And they've got different modes. They've got a red light as well. They've got a flashing light. So I would not be seen without one of these. I use this almost every day, especially in the winter when we're doing installs and things like that. You'll see it on my head in the workshop when I'm working away. There's nothing worse than not being able to see when you're trying to do something intricate and you're working. And equally, there's nothing more frustrating than getting somebody to hold a torch for you and they're not concentrating and they keep shining off it. We all know those stories of when you're a kid and your dad's like, just shine, look where you're shining, pay attention. So definitely recommend one of these.
Right, the second item is probably a bit of a surprise to you. It's this Irwin cable cutter. And it's different from a pair of side cutters in that these things slice remarkably thick cables. We can cut up to 70 mil cables with these.
Actually, 95 mil.
No, have you cut 95?
Yeah, 95
All right. 95 mil cable, and it just slices. It's got this shape here with the blade that just slices through. It's a remarkable little, and this is very inexpensive. I don't know what it actually costs.
Like 20, maybe 20 pounds, maybe 30 pounds max, but they're really cost effective.
Really good.
Third item, which is actually a double item, 2-in-1, is this here. So you'll know if you're a tool fan, if you like power tools, you'll notice there's something wrong here. Got a Makita tool with a 2-volt battery. But the first item I want to highlight is this little adapter here, which is a really neat piece of kit. We've got a bunch of these knocking around the place in the workshops and all sorts. And what this is it's a little battery adapter which allows you to use a 2-volt battery on a Makita tool. And so this is fairly inexpensive. Again, I can't remember the exact price, but I think it's like 15 or 20 pounds for the adapter. Really well worth it, in my opinion. And what this enables you to do, so if you're like us, so we're already invested in the 2-volt system, and this is not a debate on what the best power tool is, but definitely 2-volt's better than Makita. We'll say that. But what this enabled us to do is because we were already invested in the 2-volt ecosystem, I have 2-volt tools, Dad has 2-volt tools. We both have all the chargers and the batteries and everything else to go with it. Didn't make sense to then get one power tool that you then need to get a charger and batteries and spare batteries and everything. So this adapter allows you to plug into your existing ecosystem, which is really neat. And then I'll highlight this specific Makita tool. We were looking for a little air compressor, mobile air compressor to have knocking around the place. And we looked at the 2-volt options and they were like, I can't remember, at the time they were like £100 or more for the 2-volt compressor. And it was just a lot of money to spend on something that we didn't necessarily need every day, but we wanted it for the convenience, etc. Makita had this, and I think it was like 30 or 40 pounds, somewhere around there. Really good, and it's been rock solid. I actually leave this compressor in my wife's car just so that she's got something in case she ever has a flat or anything like that. It just sits there. I just change the battery from time to time when I see it going down, and I would definitely recommend both this adapter and this Makita compressor.
Next item up would be this tester. Now, if you're a motorhomer and you travel around Europe, you'll know that some of the campsites have got really dodgy electrics. So you plug this into a standard British plug, and you see 2 red lights on the top here, everything's good. If you don't see 2 red lights, it's going to tell you what is wrong. So these little testers are really, really great. And you may as well get something like this. So this enables you to, at say a French campsite and you're not sure about the electrics, so you plug this into the 16 amp the socket that they provide. You can plug this into here, and then you can see what the campsite electrics are like. So that, that may determine whether you decide you're not going to plug into their system or not. Shows you the voltage as well. So it's quite a handy thing. You really shouldn't travel Europe. If you're going to go to campsites, you shouldn't travel Europe without one of these.
Yeah, for sure. And the next one is a pretty random one, but anyone that has a motorhome or a van knows how good a piece of anti-slip mat like this is. And we found this particular range on Amazon, which is a very thick piece, very solid. So what I used to get frustrated with is you'd buy some and it would just be this piddly little stuff that would land up just falling apart after a very short space of time. Found this particular listing on Amazon, and you get it in a big sheet. I can't remember the exact dimensions. I think it's like
700 mils wide.
700 mils square, right?
Wide and about 1.5 meters long.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty big sheet. I've used it for all sorts of stuff. And again, it's fairly inexpensive for the size that you get. So we'll link this down below as well. And if you're looking for some good anti-slip mat, this is it.
Right, the next one up is a real dad's tool, this one. This is a wearer screwdriver, but it's not just a normal screwdriver. So basically, that comes out, and then all your bits are here.
In the
so
handle.
You've got all the bits in the handle. So this is really great to have in a vehicle or something like that. You don't need to carry full screwdriver sets. This is actually a really good kit to have.
And one other thing that I found recently, which is really handy, is I think that this actually comes out, and then you have a longer extension than normal. It's a standard 1/4 inch drive, so that you can actually take that out completely, and it's pretty handy.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I know.
There you go.
Cool.
And next one is another torch, but this is not just any torch. This is probably one of the brightest torches that I found for the size. It's just a little sort of pen light pocket torch, if you like. And you can see mine. This is my one. I carry it every single day, and it's worn as anything because I use it all the time. And it's solid. I've had this for, I think, 2 years now. I don't know what the lumens are. I don't know the technical details of it. I just know that if I need to see in the dark, I turn this thing on, and it's like daylight. Instant switch. Takes a rechargeable, is it an 1850, I think, or 14500 battery, rechargeable battery. You can buy these from various places. Olight make them. You can get them on Amazon, that sort of thing. We'll link a couple options in the description down below as well for the batteries, and you can get little chargers for those. And I use the rechargeable batteries just because when you use those rechargeable batteries, they're 3.7 volts as opposed to your standard 1.5 volts for a normal AA battery. So it gives it a much brighter light for such a small size. Really impressive little torch. The best thing about it, though, is that you can actually use a standard AA battery. It just is not as bright as if you use the proper rechargeable battery. But it's a solid torch. Again, fairly inexpensive. I carry this every day. I have done for years, and I would highly recommend one of these little torches just to chuck in your pocket.
This is would be quite an expensive present because they're about $250 for a smaller vehicle and about $350 for a big vehicle. But these are snow chains, but they are really, really great.
Just turn it over so people can see the picture on the other side.
Okay, cool. They are really easy to put on. So, you know the standard snow chains where you have to put a kneeling mat down and you have to have something to get dressed in because you're going to hug the tire to get them on and that. These ones, you don't even need to actually kneel on the ground. You just crouch down, put this over, stand on this little thing. You can watch the YouTubes on these. They are remarkably easy to put on. And for anybody who's traveling to snow and ice, they really are good. For motorhomers specifically, if you like to drive on grass on the odd occasion, so you go to a show and you're taken off to your camping spot and you got a 20-30 yard drive on grass on turf. You know how many guys get stuck in that situation?
Yeah.
These are remarkable for just traveling on lawn. They're not heavy duty, so you wouldn't use them for really heavy stuff, but just for driving on lawn so that you don't actually trash the lawn and that you don't get stuck in the lawn, these are remarkably good. I would highly recommend these things.
Yeah, and just on that subject, we actually made a video about that very topic last year sometime, or I can't even remember, but we've got a video on the channel about that. I'll link it down in the description if you want to have a look at that, but it just shows how good snow chains are for driving on grass and in situations where you start to lose traction. All right, and the final item that we would recommend is having a good battery booster system for your car. So we really like this brand here, NIGEL, and we've used them for many years. I've had one of these in my vehicles for, I don't know, probably the last 5 years at least, and these are really solid. This is a very big one compared to some others, but we went for the bigger ones, especially for the motorhomes and vans, and also my dad and I both drive 4x4s as well, and so we wanted a big one that could cope with the bigger engines, and just basically want to be in this. If you're in the situation where you can't start your van or your 4x4, you don't want to be messing around with something that is just outputting a small amperage. You want something that's solid, and we really like these. Both Dad and I have had this exact model for years now, and it's solid. Not only does it do the standard boost where you connect your positive and negative to your engine battery if you need to start it up, but it also has a torch in here which has various modes like flashing light, etc., obviously to alert people to you, and it also has outputs as well, so it doubles up as a power bank if you need to charge your phone or something like that in an emergency. So that's pretty handy. And it also can charge just off standard USB, which is pretty handy because you can just charge it in your van or your vehicle just in the cigarette lighter USB adapter, or obviously in a household USB situation as well. So really rock solid. And they also surprisingly hold up pretty well in cold weather as well. So in my Land Cruiser, I have one of these in all year round. In the winter, every, say, month or so, I just check it just to see how much battery is still in this thing, and usually it's still in the green. If I need to, sometimes you can see it going down a little bit because batteries do sometimes self-discharge, especially in colder weather. These are lithium, so not as much as like lead acid or something like that, but it's worth just double checking that. But they do hold their charge pretty well even in the winter, so I would definitely recommend one of those and have that in your vehicle, especially if you're doing big trips, going to places where potentially you don't have signal and a little bit more remote, those sort of situations. You definitely want the ability to start your van. And the challenge with a lot of modern vehicles is that if your engine battery gets too low, then often you can't even start it by pull starting it because your ECB and the computers on your vehicle need a certain amount of power just to be able to run. So well worth having something like that in your vehicle.
And I've started some pretty big diesel engines with a surprisingly big engines. It really is a good bit of kit.
They are impressive. So there we go, folks. Some ideas for Christmas. Hopefully you got something out of that.
You know what we forgot to put on was one of these Offgrid beanies.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. One last thing, actually. We're going to be selling gift vouchers for our store as well. So that's an option. If you're interested in any of the items that we sell in our shop, or anything like that, we've got options of gift vouchers, which we'll link in the description below. So you can send that to your friends and family and say, give me a voucher for this place because I'm going to be buying a new charger or a smart shunt or something like that. So yeah, and of course, you could always use that gift voucher to get yourself a beanie as well. So there's that option as well. We'd love to know in the comments if you like this video, and if you like our videos in general, please leave us a comment down below and hit that like. It really helps the channel, helps more people see these videos. And of course, we'll see you in the next video, and all of this will be linked down in the description. So if you're interested in any of this, have a look down there. There'll be a little description with the item and the link next to it. But yeah, thanks for watching, folks. Hopefully this has been helpful, and we'll see you in the next video. Cheers.
Cheers.